There is an important development happening in East Mediterranean region. It's not only that Turkey has declared that Turkey has started to drill and oil offshore along the Cyprus coast, but there is a now ongoing election time in Israel, and this is going to heavily affect the not only Israel but also all the neighboring countries, including Turkey. If things might change, as now we are going to discuss, as you know, Benjamin Netanyahu is under now investigation to the crime that he has conducted, and it's about again, bad business. Like it's claimed that he has been or he had received some resources for his own personal businesses, and in return he has given some benefits to businessmen and so on and so forth, as usual things. Now, why it is important to Turkey and to neighboring countries that we are now going to mention, especially to one of them specifically. We have come to an idea, what if, although, by the way, we have to state that Netanyahu's party is now still number one in the polls, the surveys, what if he will be found as a criminal and he will not be allowed to run for another term? Now, this means that there might be other candidates that we have to consider, and one of them is the ex-general from the defense department. His name is Gantz, and he is now the leader of a party that he has established 5 years ago. His name is Israel Resilience Party. Now, this is a left party, left-oriented idea party, and it has very different ideas. And now, as Netanyahu is a right-wing party, they have been always considering that they are going to use the military and the police efforts in the middle of their foreign and also domestic politics in order to keep the country safe and to persuade the Palestinians and other Arab countries to persuade their own interest. Up until now, this hasn't really been fruitful because of other things that it will be a long time to discuss, but it has not been fruitful. But Gantz has a much more different idea. He has been advocating that since now Israel has already taken great lands and which we cannot use it at all, so why don't we use them in order to negotiate with Arabs, including especially the Palestinians? And his idea is, let's give some of the land back, especially in Gaza. Let's make a peace. Let's give the some of the lands that we have taken to Palestinians, including maybe even the Lebanons, maybe to some effect, and we will get the recognition of the Arab nations that will also give a great security to Israel in the region. Why this is important? Because then it will be Iran that they are going to concentrate on, since they have secured Israel and the peace around Israel with the Arab countries. And that will be target will be much more on only Iran. So to do that, also this is going to give them the leverage that for some Arab countries or the Gulf Arab countries, especially the Saudis and the United Arab Emirates, now they have already established good connections behind the doors. But once these kind of, let's say, peace or a mutual agreement can be found with the Palestinians, then the doors will be closed, no needs for the doors, it can be open altogether, and they can start also establishing and improving their relations before the curtains. Then with including these Arab countries influencing the region, and they can influence more on Iran, and they can try to contain the threats coming from Iran. This is going to be a major event that we would like to keep an eye on. Israel election, upcoming election, including the trials of Netanyahu before elections. Hopefully we can hear that it's going to be one way to another will be resoluted. And we will see how this might affect. So our prediction is that if Netanyahu still keeps his position with a good outcome from the trial, there will be no major change in the foreign and also domestic politics of Israel. However, if Israel's Resistance Party will be in power due to Netanyahu's trial comes to a negative outcome, because all the polls show that if Netanyahu doesn't or is not going to be elected or be due to this end of trial, that he might be forbidden to run for the next coming elections. Then Gantz is now in the second place, and he will be automatically in the first place to be elected, which means that Israel is going to show a great difference or a different path to resolve its differences with the Palestinians, which we should be keeping an eye, because the outcome of this resolution with the Palestinians is going to affect to Iran, and we want to see how Iran is going to play also with this. I'm sure that they are going to influence somehow not this agreement to come alive. So just keep with us and watch us.